A little indie film out right now called Avengers Infinity War, so I guess I'd do a review about it. So let's talk about it. And obviously, this will contain spoilers, so just be wary about it. So, Avengers Infinity War is essentially this big culmination of 10 years of Marvel movies that's been on this track ever since 2008 with the first Iron Man movie. So it's been a long time coming. And what I can definitely say about this movie is that it doesn't leave anything out, which I was most surprised of. And it really sets the tone of this dark, dreary journey of a movie from start to finish. I mean, the opening sequence just really sets the tone for how this movie is going to feel. Dark and just completely um, unforgiving by the end of this movie, and it's really awesome. I mean, this movie is funny, this movie is dark, and this movie is heartbreaking, if anything. Um, but it's one of my personal favorite Marvel movies now, without a doubt. I definitely want to see it again, but I can definitely say it's definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies. Um, as far as just the characters, I will say when you have a story on this scale, there's going to be some problems here or there. The one problem that I feel like may have been attributed to this movie was just with these many groups of characters, like you have Thor with the Guardians, you have Tony Stark with some other members of the Guardians, you have Cap and his group in Wakanda, and you have the Black Order in other places. It all sort of gets a little jumbled and everything. On top of that, you have some flashbacks thrown in there of Thanos and Gamora, and it gets sort of jarring. But I think it all sort of culminates into that final sequence when Thanos ultimately does what he sets out to do, and finally balances the universe, killing random Avengers and people throughout the Marvel Universe. I mean, without a doubt, Thanos has to be the best, if not the best, Marvel villain that we've ever gotten, which is saying something, because we've had some, not a lot, but some great Marvel villains. Baron Zemo, the Vulture, Loki. So, not a whole lot, but we've had some. And I would definitely say that after seeing this movie, Thanos takes the cake, no doubt. So, understanding that really gets someone ready for a movie like this. I'm really curious to see what they do in the film that follows this, the next Avengers movie that follows this, which will be a year from now, and by this time next year, 2019. So I'm curious to see what they do with that. But this film is just completely on another level. And the fact that they're able to sneak in this humor, the fact that they're able to build this dark tone around it. I mean, the Russos did their job to the letter. They gave us a finale that was definitely worthy of all these 10 years of films. But in a sense, I think that if they had included the other Avengers film immediately after it, then it would kind of be this huge journey. Because it feels like you can't really judge this film because you don't have the other part that comes after it. Sort of like seeing Back to the Future before and then wondering what happens after Back to the Future Part 2. Or seeing Empire but not Return of the Jedi. So, kind of like that. But at the end of the day, Infinity War did its job. It did it absolutely remarkable work when it came to telling its story. The cast was great. No complaints there. Just a little narrative things here and there, just of like the different groups. But when you're telling a story this big, there's gonna be some little narrative problems here or there. But I mean, all in all, It was one. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. I enjoyed it, and I would recommend seeing it at least probably more than once because I know that I am. Just on the scale that that movie is, it's gonna take probably months to analyze and overanalyze every single scene that every person is, just to see all the spreaded Easter eggs that are within that movie as a whole. So that would be my advice to anyone wanting to see it for a second, third, or fourth time. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed Avengers Infinity War, and I'm looking forward to what they do in the next Avengers. I will say this, I was a little disappointed, though, that they did not have Hawkeye and Ant-Man in this movie. But I can see, again, why they pulled them back, probably just for the sake of them using them in the next movie, which kind of makes me excited just to know that those characters weren't featured in this movie, and to know that they are going to be at the forefront of the next movie makes me excited, because I feel like Hawkeye and Ant-Man haven't really had their day in the sun yet, but with this movie I feel like they probably will. So we'll see what happens with that. But let me know what you guys thought of Avengers Infinity War. Do you think this is a satisfying way to end this culmination of 10 years of Marvel films? And what are your thoughts on just the next Avengers film that comes after this? We're not completely out of the woods yet with Marvel. We still have Deadpool 2, and we still have another movie connected to the MCU, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which does take place after Civil War and before Infinity War, so that should be interesting to look forward to, and I will be doing reviews for those, so stay tuned for that. As far as any other future reviews, we'll see in the coming months. I know there's tons of films to be seen, so definitely check up on the channel on that. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you enjoyed Infinity War as much as I did. Adios.